It's all the fact that it was all caps. When they made you another you and it was all caps. Is it all fact or is it all cap?
You know, you got to be just as insane as anybody who believe in this God to argue with them about a God that you don't even believe exists. I actually think you have to be more insane to argue with somebody every day, all day, about a God that you don't even believe exists. First of all, you can't prove non-existence. So they can't prove that God exists. You can't prove he don't exist because you can't prove non-existence. You can't prove something that don't exist. So, you know, so that's insanity alone in itself. While you sitting up there trying to prove or disprove an entity that we know don't exist. I've never seen somebody recant from their beliefs because they was debating with somebody. In the middle of a debate or at the end of a debate, I never seen a person recant from their beliefs because they lost the debate. It ain't never happened, bro. So you done spent, I spent, as a believer, most of us spent half our life or more than half our life believing in this God. Now you're going to spend the rest of your life arguing against the God. But how does that make sense? If the God doesn't exist, this is the number one, this is the clincher right here, I think. Like, it's nothing that you can say to convince somebody outside of their own common sense and logic. There's nothing you can say. If they can't activate their own sense of logic and common sense and consciousness, if they can't deal with their own consciousness, their own logic and common sense, it ain't nothing you can say in that argument to convince them otherwise. So the point is that they have to come to their own sense of realization. They have to deal with their own common sense, logic, and conscience to come to the conclusion that this is some BS. This God don't exist. This God is not good. And this God is not worthy of my worship. But you got people talking about they deconstructing. How are you deconstructing if you're still talking about the same God? Matter of fact, you got atheists and agnostics that's more obsessed with this God than believers are. You still talking about the God every day. You still talking about the Bible every day as if it's true. The insanity of it all is that you don't believe it's true. We don't believe it's true, but you're arguing as if it is true. You're arguing about God as if he did say and do these things in the Bible, knowing damn well he didn't do any of it. How is that not insane, bro? We know he didn't do anything in that book. We know he didn't say anything in the book. But you're arguing with people as if he did do and say what we read in the book. You wouldn't argue if somebody told you they believed Dr. Seuss was real. You wouldn't argue with them about that. You wouldn't argue with somebody who said they believe Santa Claus is real. So why would you argue about a God in the book every day, all day? I think you got to be more insane to argue about a God that you don't even believe in. It's never going to go anywhere, bro. That's why the conversation never goes anywhere, because you cannot prove non-existence. They can't prove that God exists and you can't prove he doesn't, because you can't prove something that doesn't exist. And that's the insanity of it all. But if you're arguing, once you start arguing against the God, now you take the position of offense as if he did do and say these things. So you actually have to believe to a certain degree that he actually did say and do these things to argue against it, to argue against the God. That's the word of the day.
Do you believe what you can show, or just believe from what you know? What make a book holy if God never wrote it? Imagine God was just misquoted. If God was